Wow, and we are back for a round 6. I am so excited to get to watch our matchup today.
It's gonna be great. We have two undefeated players.
Ooh.
As far as I'm aware, they're both undefeated. They are in table 1, so unless it's pairing pretty wild, they should be 5-0 here going in round 6.
That would be crazy if table 1 was not undefeated.
Like a draw.
And we're
It's
still another round to
possible.
go. I guess it could happen, but it is a little insane.
We've been getting rounds going pretty late.
Mm-hmm.
It is a new game. They're only 50-minute rounds.
Which is short for Riftbound.
It is. Unintentional draws are not that uncommon,
Mm-hmm.
especially on an early game like this one that's pretty complicated as
Mhm.
well. So, you know, it was like because I was scrolling through the list and like whoever's in 8th already has a draw. So
Okay.
it's not that crazy to imagine it working out that way for a lot of players, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, it is really interesting. I know at least one of our players is a set player, which is kind of insane in all the best ways. In all
Yeah.
the best ways. We haven't seen Set do too well in any of the Chinese tournaments.
True.
But I'm hopeful because he is actually one of my favorite legends.
It's a very, very powerful champion, and when you leverage the leader ability well enough,
Oh, yeah.
you maintain some absurd tempo basically through all stages of the game. You don't need that many runes because really once you play your units, they're just around.
Yeah.
And you can kind of bully some of the players that are focusing on, damage-based removal, like Kaiser, or, even some of the other just, like, put units on the board and try to have big stats. I mean, the set champion unit can be huge very easily and kind of go over the top of that sort of strategy. They have access to all of the order, sort of stun your unit, facebreaker, and things like that. So it's a pretty scary deck if you're not prepared for it, especially.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I will say, even, and maybe it's why we don't see too much or have seen too much of it before. I think for newer players, you can also get in a trap though using that legend ability where you're just wasting rune after rune after rune. And wow, it does look like Set is going first, and they hit, in my opinion, the card exactly they want, which is Cythria. She buffs herself whenever you play another unit, which means here on out she can basically buff herself going forward. Versus one of the other two drops would be Pit Rookie, which Pit Rookie buffs something else only once. And the two battlefields that we're going to be seeing here is that Dreaming Tree, and then the other one. Oh God,
Trying to
I'm
make it
trying
out.
to
I think
name.
it's the Candlelit.
It is Candlelit. You are correct. And Candlelit is Vision too. Like you look at the top two of your cards.
It is Vision 2. Yep. When you conquer.
Okay.
You look at the top two, recycle one or both, and then you can put them back in any order. So it's pretty powerful, but it's generally not overwhelming one way or another for most decks. So especially in Kaiser, it can be kind of like a neutral,
Okay.
a neutral battlefield that doesn't necessarily give the opponent a ton of advantage, even in some of their worst matchups, right?
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Better either to have a deck that a battlefield that helps you or doesn't hurt you.
Yes.
So the other one is going to be that Dreaming Tree. So maybe Dreaming Tree will be the priority for both players, but it actually looks like we're going to be putting Pouty Poro from Ocean, the Kaiser player, into that Candlelit. They would look at the top two of their deck, and they can decide if they want to put them underneath as like recycled, or what order they'd like to be at the top of the deck. We did see a Fiora come down, which I think is a really cool card. When she gets Mighty, it's plus, like when she has 5 Might, she gets Deflect, Ganking, and Shield, and they're just all such strong
Just
keywords.
get all the keywords, just all of them.
Yeah, all of them, basically. Minus Tank, I guess.
Minus Tank. On the offense, pretty much everything that you could hope for, and it is not that difficult to increase Might by 1 in Set, especially.
Oh, yeah.
A single buff, all of a sudden, everything turns online. Very, very powerful. Falling Star coming down here, it looks like dealing 3 damage to both, and then leveraging Stupefy to lower Might down to 3, which will then also take it out. It'll still have the lethal damage on it once the Might is lowered to 3 here.
That makes sense. And they do not decide to use that set ability, which I think is smart this early in game. We got to get some runes first. Earlier, you were telling me how much you hated recycling. So how is it that you also like set?
Well, I think it really depends on the
Ooh.
deck. You
Mm-hmm.
know, this deck is able to play pretty low rune a lot of the time.
Okay.
It's able to leverage the, recycling of your own runes to keep your different units on the field while still basically you're still having a huge board
Mm-hmm.
regardless of dunking your own runes over and over and over and over. And that's not that big of a deal. When you conquer ready it, you can sometimes do this 2 or 3 times in the same turn,
Mm-hmm.
but it really doesn't hurt you that much because all your things are still there. You don't need that much. Once you have a couple units on the field, you don't need that many more runes to be able to, play a spell, put a couple more buffs, and then all of a sudden you're just back going again, the same action. You don't lose your units the way that you do in some of the other decks. So you're not setting yourself so far behind on tempo like you would in some other lists, even though you may go down on runes just because of your leader ability.
That makes a lot of sense. So because you're able to keep them, you don't have to play the runes because you've just kept the character.
Yeah, and it looks like the uh, champion unit came down here, set Kingpin. Now, I know that a lot of times it is the other one that's generally
Mm-hmm.
preferred, the Brawler, because it does have the ability to both get buffs very easily and also just be huge.
Yeah, for sure.
But if this list is a little bit heavier on, having a wider board, maybe giving a little bit more buffs out to various things,
Mm-hmm.
I could see this being a pretty interesting card.
Yeah, it seemed really interesting. We saw this player, I think, round 2, Collin, round 2, and it seemed, if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, game 1 he keeps Brawler, but game 2, at least in that match, I'm pretty sure he swapped over. Sorry, no, he had the Kingpin and he swapped over to Brawler
Sure.
for game 2. But he was able to use, I think it was Challenge. It was like a gigantic character with all of his different little buddies at the battlefield to finish off some characters. And it looks like that challenge is going to come down here. It looks like they're in fact going to be using Retreat, though, on Ocean's side to save the Kaiser from challenge.
Which I think is reasonable here. You don't really want to lose it for free. This way you still get to cash that in. You can accelerate it next turn. You get to channel the rune with Retreat, so it's really kind of free to do it a lot of times,
Mm-hmm.
especially on accelerate units. And I would say that Challenge is probably one of the premium removal spells in set,
Okay.
because again, a lot of your characters are quite large,
Yeah, it's very true.
and you're just directly fighting something on the other side. If your guy's just bigger, that's it.
Yeah, and I wonder how challenge works with Dreaming Tree. Is challenge a target? Because you have to choose, but I don't know how exactly the exact
We can
wording
look.
works.
Choose a friendly unit. Looks straight to me.
Yeah, so maybe we also even get to draw off the Dreaming Tree
Yep.
then as well. So it synergizes nicely with it looks like the battlefield that Colin had chosen for game 1.
Yeah, it makes sense why you would, go to the battlefield, start the showdown first, then opt to challenge being an action, something that you
Mm-hmm.
can do, and pick up an extra card. That's really nice.
Um, yeah, that's really nice. You're gonna want to draw. I remember when I played set. I mean, in the one battlefield I was playing at the time, which I think was like the, it's like a more red color. It's like Hiram, something of Hiram, maybe. Yeah, the battlefield right there, monastery of Harana. My bad. I was close. I was close. I want, I guess, to get more cards, but when I was playing it a while ago, not the best player myself, I do say. But I couldn't get enough cards. I felt like in my hand
Yeah.
always. So this Dreaming Tree will help, especially with that challenge.
Yeah, it would not surprise me if the monastery is also one of the options.
Mhm.
You pick a lot of them that give you pretty good access to card draw. Make sure that you always have one available, which is really nice.
Yeah, and with that one, it actually basically doesn't hurt you ever. Like Kaiser doesn't have any buffs to spend on it, right?
True.
So it looks like we did look at the just the discard pile here, and it looks like we're gonna. It looks like we're able to kill the set, but we're going to spend his buff to save him, with that set legend ability.
Yeah, occasion coming down, taking it out. Not a big surprise there. a pretty large commitment, but it does clean up both of the battlefields so that you're able to actually gain a little bit of points. Putting Ocean up now to 4.
That's a nice spot here, and especially because I feel like Set is just normally so hyper aggro. If he doesn't have the points now, what is he going to do to find his way back against Kaiser?
So most of your units end up being quite a bit larger than what Kaiser is able to offer.
True.
So theoretically, you're able to play a large enough board that you can just, we have the Pouty Poro, which is just a 2. Noxious, a little better, but not that much larger,
Yeah, I love Noxus with that only costing 2 when he's a Legion, but I think this is an interesting card in the back. I don't know too much about what is this, Bodyguard something? I think this is like a more of like a sauce card, maybe you would say. I don't know the correct word. In the back, so I just wanted. I can't really see
on this one.
Yeah, I don't think I. Am I crazy? I think he's.
That is the other one. It is. Assault. Hang on.
I feel like it's not that common in Kaiser, if I remember correctly.
It is not that common. Usually they opt for the 4/4 for 2. This one, the 4 for 2. This allows you to accelerate it.
Oh, so they're playing for the accelerate. Very interesting. And it looks like we're gonna use that challenge though again. Kingpin in the Dreaming Tree is gonna get that draw, taking him out. I don't know his name off the top of my head. So he's able to take out the could accelerate in the base.
The Legion Rearguard.
Legion Rearguard. Well, he was protecting the base, so his name was very fitting.
Makes sense to me.
Ooh, Cithria as well. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana right now. We don't really have a base where there's no like worry about Time Warp, but we are getting into that rune space where we could use it. This is pretty sleeves. A little bit hard to read on them, but very pretty regardless.
It does. The reflection makes it a little challenging, a little bit from the lights.
Oh.
Okay, so how big is the Kingpin? He only cares about if it's buffed at the battlefield. So currently, still just a 5/6 with the buff himself.
Yeah. Is he 5 base or 4 base?
He's 5 base.
So he's actually 7 because he counts himself.
Does he? Interesting.
That's
that
what I was
sense.
told. Yeah, he counts himself, which almost makes him just automatically a 7.
Yeah.
But Falling Star coming down, who are they going to hit?
I sure hope it's the ones in the back, unless they've got another Stupefy.
Yeah, they're going to need it. Yep, it is the 2 in the back, just like you mentioned. Good call.
Makes sense to me. Clean it up as much as we can. I believe that's our second Falling Star and an Ication Rain. We're kind of running out of our premium removal.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And we saw from the deck tech earlier that not all the Kaisers are actually running a Cathian Rain in their main deck. So we'll have to see if they do have it. It looks like they are going to accelerate Kaiser directly into Candlelit, unless I missed that from last turn. And it looks like we are going to respond with challenge again. Oh, 3rd challenge.
Challenge again here, very, very powerful. An action, if they had just not gone into the battlefield, wouldn't have been usable. However, you can't really just do nothing, especially given that the set was holding. All right, ready another unit?
Wow, that's a pretty big turn. We're filling out the base a bit more. We're able to retreat from Dreaming Tree, take the other side, so 2 points this turn.
First mate, pretty reasonable body for the cost. And readying another unit can be very powerful, as we saw here. Able to retreat, ready, move over to Candlelit. All the way up to 4. Not, again, the fastest with set, but the game is pretty well under control. It's very hard to deal with this set. I mean, even if we live in a world where it's... Okay, that makes sense. So Thousand Tail Watcher comes down, takes us out, we can just recycle a rune and it lives. You know?
Very good point. And we only have 1 mana up, so it's not like we can play a follow-up spell that would be able to finish off the set. I'm assuming set, the ability is very similar to how Zhonya's works, but I could be wrong on that.
I believe that it is.
So things like Falling Star or Cathian, in Cathian Rain, what would you have to do in this case, could be used then to because each of the damaged ones are triggers themselves,
Yeah.
you would knock it out between the triggers, you would save him, and then you can finish him off with those same ones. But it doesn't look like it's going to be the case. And with the monk coming down, he's buffed again, and they're both going into Candlelit versus the Watcher.
And they just recall.
Recall is very nice. I mean, even the set was an 8 here, which means Watcher couldn't even have killed him himself. And we're going to get even more runes. Watcher back to hand.
So this, I think, kind of seals the deal here with the retreat. Because, okay, what is our hypothetical next turn? We play the Thousand-Tailed again, which leaves us at the same amount of runes that we have now for this turn, which is not much left.
Yeah.
And then you're facing down a very wide board because, again, we're not losing the units because Set is able to keep some of them alive.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Now, Set is tapped this turn because we used it last round.
Mm-hmm.
Should have untapped because we
Yeah, we conquered. That's what I was thinking, actually. I'm not sure that we should be tapped right now. But we are going to be sending Watcher accelerated again up into Dreaming Tree. This time we do take it, and it does mean Collin doesn't automatically win going into his turn. We have 2 men up. I wonder if we'll put a second card in there. It looks like we're going to cleave on the Dreaming Tree just for that draw, but it does mean we won't have a second body on the board.
All right. Holds up to 7. Now, a few first mates, something to ready your characters. Showstopper would be very good here.
Ooh.
That'll do.
Oh, no, and it's just immediately knocked out, meaning that's going to be game for Collin. Primal Strength is so strong, and it's something you really have to watch out for as Kaiser.
Yeah, and action giving 7 might is a lot. That is a huge amount. Especially with the Dreaming Tree, you get to draw an extra card with it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, pretty much everything about that, a bit backbreaking. And in a spot like that, when they're effectively tapped out, you know, there's really not that many one-cost things out of Kaiser that can interact with just large bodies.
Yeah, for
Basically
sure.
nothing, really.
Yeah. I mean, like, maybe you could bring out a smoke screen, but even then, it's going to be a +3 on top of the Primal Strength. So, I mean, it's just going to be so painful here. We're going to be going into game 2. I wonder what this Kaiser will do to fix its matchup into Set, because Ocean felt like they had a really good, start to the tournament, and to the game, and then they seemed to lose their footing, and Collin brought it back.
Yeah, that's what's so interesting about Set. The ability to keep your units alive at the cost of the buff, and then, play a unit that just buffs both your things that you have left. That sort of tempo advantage builds up over time.
Mm-hmm.
Kaisa's, I use really efficient removal and I take out your things, but if that efficient removal doesn't actually remove them, you're essentially trading a buff for like a whole spell.
Yeah.
Which you can only play so many spells per turn as Kaiser because they are all very high power cost, which you're mitigating with your champion ability. However, with the leader power, you can only do that once, and then you can't just keep blasting because you're going to run out of runes, and then you're not getting into that Thousand-Tail Watcher range, into the Time Walk if we're playing it. And then Set is still just like, okay, well, here's a couple more bodies, here's a little bit more, and you're just chipping away at what they have. And then eventually you get some points, and then you get a couple of points, and then, we get into the spot where we were, Thousand-Tail Watcher, great card, but when it's all alone, it's just not enough to beat just like 4 things.
Yeah, for sure. Or in that case, one thing, Primal Strength.
Yeah.
But I definitely agree. The Catboy set has a lot of friends in this deck, and we are going to be going straight into that mulligan. I don't know if I mentioned it game 1. I don't think we did. For those who are just coming in now, maybe you're new to Riftbound. In Riftbound, your starting hand is 4 cards, and you're allowed to mulligan away 2. And the mulligan, I think, is a little bit unique here. The ones you choose do go to the bottom of your deck, and then you draw the next 2 cards in your deck. There is never a shuffle in the mulligan, so even if you draw into terrible cards from your mulligan that are dead in your hand, they were going to be the next 2 cards that you drew into either way. So it doesn't feel great to draw them, but it is, it's okay. I do think this is Targon's peak
Mhm.
versus the monastery you mentioned earlier.
That's what it looks like to me as well.
Oh, and a Daring Poro and a Kaiser. Oh, I guess we just didn't have we didn't have a 2 on that turn 1. That never feels good.
It's a little rough. And just running out of Kaiser Raw here can get it challenged with just a single buff.
Mm-hmm.
You buff up the Poro just a little bit and throw a challenge out. It's definitely worth sending a few of your runes back for it.
Yeah, I noticed this player also does play their set really early.
Yeah.
I think that we saw that earlier as well. I think set's an interesting one, especially with the Kingpin. You basically have to play him like protect the king. And I think you get to do that with the ability of the legend, and he did it really well last game. But because of that, sometimes it's a little bit surprising to see him so early when maybe you have less resources to protect them.
I mean, what's nice is we have 3 runes, and you can just use one straight up to protect it.
True.
As long as you're able to give it another buff on the following turn, they have to commit a lot of resources to be able to take out a 7, especially in Kaiser.
Oh, yeah, in Kaiser especially.
Like, there are some other decks that may have some options, but, like, we're just challenging straight up.
Yeah.
What are they going to do about it?
Absolutely nothing. And because we took Targon's Peak, we also actually got 2 runes back. Did I say it wrong?
No. They just
they
just have to retreat, and then they just have nothing, you know.
Yeah, they just had to retreat here, and I mean we get an extra rune, but it does not feel good at all. But let's see here.
That just does not care that it only has 2 runes. You can still protect something with a buff on it. Okay, deal 4 damage, draw a card.
What are you supposed to do?
Sure.
And
Okay, deal 3 damage. Okay, so we recycle another rune. Deal. You just essentially...
One more to do what, though? Okay, another
take
Hextech
out the
for the
other
Poro.
one. Sure. So we've recycled a bunch of runes. Set is still in play. We have 0 points. That's hard.
Yeah, it's rough. I'm not saying, obviously, that I would be able to play better, but sometimes I wonder if you're supposed to hold it until you have the ability to, like, finish off the set on the bench. On the base, sorry.
It's tough, yeah. I mean, I get the idea. We're trying to slow the game down a little bit because we're behind.
Mm-hmm.
This lets us untap again. There are quite a few 3-cost spells that allow us to keep our things alive. Call, I think, being one of the...
Call of Glory?
Call of Glory, one of the more impactful ones, just +3. Can very easily allow us to keep something alive that maybe they were hoping that we don't, outside of just using the set ability. I mean, you can try to wear set down on runes just by continually dealing with their one kind of protect the king here. And in this case, it is the Kingmaker, right?
Yeah, for sure. I do want to give some context to chat because people were asking. It is a 2-day tournament, not a 1-day tournament. It is 7 rounds today in day 1, and then in day 2, tomorrow we are going to seeing 2 Swiss rounds and then a top 16. So it is a 2-day tournament. This is round 6 out of 9 Swiss rounds.
Yeah, so there'll be 1 more round today, and then a couple more tomorrow.
Yep. So, I mean, they still have that set. We're at 3 points right now. We decide to accelerate Kaiser again, even though this is... Let's see what they have. If they have something, I would be a little bit worried.
Another challenge.
Oh, but they let it happen, and we're going to get a point here. We also saw that draw from the Kaiser, which is nice. But, like, as I mentioned earlier with his monastery, like, what are you supposed to... I mean, Kaiser, she took the monastery, but, like, it doesn't do anything for her.
You can have it. It's yours.
Who cares? You're not going to draw anything off it other than your ability. Like... I'll deal with you later, Kaiser.
The most neutral of all battlefields, unless you are playing set, and then you have plenty of buffs to draw if you want.
Yeah. I mean, like, you can get, like, 2 draws maybe off of Yi with, like, the 2 pit rookies, but, like, it's just... It's so not... I mean, I guess there's also Lee Sin, but, like, Is there a Lee Sin?
Nah.
Is there a Lee Sin?
Somebody may have the starter. Maybe.
There's a starter deck, yeah.
See, that's they just brought what they had. Cards are hard to get these days.
In the National Open, there was like a 2v2 for round 1, versus like between some influencers, and I'm pretty sure Lee Sin won actually.
I can see it.
Yeah, the Lee Sin was an Ari cosplayer,
Ooh.
and they were playing against someone playing Ari. I was like, bro, if there's gonna be an Ari player and there's gonna be an Ari cosplay, we need you guys to swap decks. Ari's got to play Ari, not the other way, but it's whatever. They did win. But we do see Kiana come down, which I've been saying earlier, I think is one of the strongest cards.
Kiana's great. Here's a showstopper,
Ooh.
which is going to bully this Kaiser.
No.
Oh, yeah. Big problem.
That's mean. That's mean.
So, showstopper, probably one of the strongest signature spells.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because it's cheap, right? It only costs 1.
Yeah.
It allows you to move something directly to a battlefield from your base on top of buffing.
Mm-hmm.
We play the Kiana, move it to base. We're able to channel an extra rune. We draw a card if we want. It's a tough spot for Kaiser here. Already being at 5, there's a ton of might on the other side of the board to just have a student in play. Like, what do we do here? Do we Thousand Tail Watcher and maybe push the Kiana back to base?
Yeah, and the problem is like if you do decide to attack the Kiana with like a spell because you don't want to you don't have really a character to throw in here, you have to pay the deflect cost too, and you're going even further down mana. Luckily, I mean, the Kaiser leader ability can be used when you're using a spell for the deflect cost, but it's just going to continue to chip away at Ocean's runes, and that does not feel good at all. Man, this Kiana is insane with the Showstopper for sure. I think Showstopper is one of the best, like synergy wise with the leader.
Oh, for sure. Being the signature spell at such a cheap cost. I mean, some of the signature spells are okay.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are decent, but not all of them are the same power level. I don't think.
I'd agree with that.
I think Tibbers is cool.
I've
don't
never
know if
seen
he's
it
that
played.
good.
I have no clue what it does.
It costs 8
No.
and 2 either Chaos or Fury power, and then it does 3 to everything at battlefields, and I think it's like a 7 or 8. Let's see how.
That's crazy.
It's a 7.
Oh, it's a unit.
It's a unit, yeah.
Does anything else have a signature unit?
Not currently.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't think that's very good if I'm being completely honest.
It's okay. Maybe if Victor was everywhere and there's just like a meta of putting a bunch of tiny things in battlefields, like you have it in the sideboard, but it just it costs too much to do not enough.
And it does feel like there's like the Jinx signature, which is I think the rocket. And to me, it sometimes feels like they've already balanced for the rocket's damage, and so everything's a 4 instead of a 3.
Right.
And so Tibbers does nothing in response.
Yeah.
But we do hit Darius. Darius did come down, and I think they did a retreat, so it was maybe ready before it moved up here versus Kiana. So it is currently a 5 versus a 7.
Certainly one of the stronger cards out of set 1 as far as units are concerned. Very easy to trigger the condition of the second card. Readies it, gives it +2. Like, he's real nice in these in these Fury decks.
I completely agree. And also, like, the cool thing is based on the wording, you can kind of trigger it on your opponent's turn as well, as long as you can get those 2 spells. So, I mean, he's not only 7 on your turn, he can be 7 on their turn too.
Sure can be.
So Kiana does get knocked out without any deflect cost being paid, but she's just in the base.
Yep.
She's just in the base.
It's just push back right to base. And that's the incremental tempo over time. We did all this work. We got this, this unit that we buffed, and we did some stuff, and then they're like, okay, it's still there.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Is it's still just always there. You don't ever really have this great ability to truly remove anything out of that deck. They can just keep it. They don't have to push a lot of cards into each battlefield. They just need to move the one that is fully safe. Set here 7 coming in. It's going to be hard to protect Darius from that.
Yeah. Okay, so they also get Raven Bloom though. So we are like 7 might in general on the battlefield. Any spell being played would immediately put Raven Bloom to a 3. And if there's a second one being played, we would see a jump by 3 completely because it would go to a 4 and Darius would go to a 7. And that would put us at 11. Uh, Kiana and Set beat that already.
Yeah, so
Or at least tie it.
being able to emulate Annie a little bit with the peak here,
Mm-hmm.
because we conquered that prior to, doing the retreat last turn,
Mm-hmm.
able to still untap the 2. So we get to do stuff this turn a little bit, which helps. Moving both things in, really scary when they have 5 up. There's so many cards that it could be. It could be Hidden Blade, which I think is what I see there. It could be Call to Glory. It could be Facebreaker. There's so much that can be played here, especially when there's only 2 from Kaiser.
Yeah. Looks like we're playing them both for. Oh, no, we just played one. Okay.
Deal 3.
Still 3, but to who? And now our Raven Bloom is a 3. So we are currently 8 on our side and 11 on the Set side. But there's 3 damage on that side.
I feel like this Hidden Blade is going to probably take out this Darius. We can't do it now. We do have to let the Hex Tech resolve first.
So Hidden Blade does appear. It is going to take out the Darius. I'm not good at reading hand shuffles. Does Ocean only have 3 cards in hand before this? Oh, now you can't see it. But I thought from their hand shuffle that they only had 3 cards, which would put them to 5, which is, I mean, kind of nice for Kaiser.
So we did presumably let the 3 damage resolve.
Mm-hmm.
But if they targeted Set with it, I mean, it's still at 4, even with the student.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not enough. Hidden Blade lets him draw a couple cards, but again, we're going up to 7.
Ouch.
Now we're going to have to deal with everything that's here. It just doesn't really seem doable given what we know about, not necessarily this list specifically, but most Kaiser lists just don't have great answers for that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we conquered the peak as well. We get to untap, so we have... it doesn't look like anything that we can actually play based on their hand. However, what do we even need at this point? We can protect with Set. We still have this huge board. Like, what's their best play here? Foxtail, and then they lose?
Mm-hmm.
Occasion Rain, and they lose? Time Walk, and then take another turn, and then lose. A tough spot.
Yeah, we have to free up both battlefields. You literally cannot play, I don't think,
Any of those cards.
any units without, if you want to play Time Warp. And you can't take both battlefields I think we may be in a very bad spot. It looks like we are going 9-10. We're Time Warping. To what?
See what we have on the top of the deck, You never know.
I'm down. That seems fine.
Game actions. Take them where you can get them.
There could be something. We don't know. We did see a player earlier that's running. Oh God, is it Unveiled Time? Is it? It's something. It does 12 to all units.
I thought it was Divine Intervention, but
Maybe it's Divine Intervention. It can't be because it was a Kaiser player.
all right. What are we?
It's Unchecked Power.
Unchecked Power, of course.
I'm not saying that they're gonna have Unchecked Power. We stupefy, so it still feels like we don't have it. But Unchecked Power could.
They would still lose because you just bring one back with Set, and then they just conquer them both, and then it's over.
Okay, Negative Nanny. Negative Nanny.
I love it as a card. It does 12 to the units at the battlefields.
It's a trigger. He could not trigger it.
That's true.
He could not trigger it.
You could forget.
There's a chance. There's a
Unlucky.
chance.
I forgot.
How dare you?
To save my thing with my leader.
Yeah, and it does look like they shook on it. So I think that's going to be a 2-0 for Collin. Collin has been doing some absolute master classes of these Set games.
Yeah, I really was impressed with the Kingpin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we got it out pretty early, and it's cheap for how big it is. It's literally 4. That's not a huge cost. Even just paying 4 and recycling 1 for a 5 is already pretty good. And if it's buffed, it's just a 7 all of a sudden. That's a ton.
Yeah, and I do want to mention some things real quick that we're seeing in the sideboard because I think it's really interesting. It looks like they put in, oh my god, what is that thing called?
Sabotage?
Well, no, they put in he's a dude hiding behind a rock. And I'm pretty sure it stops all spell damage or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
He's a dude hiding behind a rock. Sorry, guys.
This right
Yes,
here.
Unyielding Spirit. I think this is
Behind a rock.
really interesting that they put this in because
Yeah.
they took it out afterwards. So it specifically looks like in the side deck for potentially Kaiser, maybe something, maybe one of the other spell damage characters like Annie.
It does bully unchecked power pretty bad. It is incredibly good against Falling Star, Occasion
Yeah.
Rain. You know, really any of the damage
Mm-hmm.
spells just are bodied by you just pay 1, boom, it's over.
Yeah.
The game probably just ends because usually they have to really commit into, I'm going to play my board wipe. And if it doesn't work, usually you're setting up for that and you're like, oh, I'm going to really commit into this and I'll be okay not committing more stuff to the board. Board wipes are always super negative tempo. And if they're just like, nah, like, ugh.
Yeah, and this game is such a tempo game when it comes to Riftbound. So something like that can really shift an entire matchup sometimes.
Yeah.
The other interesting card I saw was Lee Sin, which I think was actually in the main deck, and we just didn't get to see it, which I think is when it's at a battlefield, all buffs are +2 instead of +1.
Oh,
Really
yeah,
cool.
the orange one.
And we were making fun of Lee Sin.
I mean, Lee Sin as a leader in those colors suffers from the problem that Yi is just better. In the same color combo, you just always, for the most part, have just the +2 instead of needing to, pay 1, tap it 1 time, get a buff. The more buff synergies that come out, it could sway it a little bit back the other direction, but it is difficult when you have a passive power that is pretty powerful and you have one that is an active. That if you are only leveraging it a little bit, then it's kind of tricky, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. But it's interesting to see like some of these different cards. I also saw one other, but I don't actually know what it was. It might have been your trash pile you were talking about earlier.
Scrap heap?
Maybe. What does Scrap Heap look like? Can you bring it up real quick so I can see it?
I can.
It looked like it was like in a fish net and it was a lot of boxes.
That is
No,
this is
wrong
Scrap
thing
Heap.
then.
It's not that. Also, it is in that is a chaos card.
Oh, okay.
They may
This is our
have-
problem with Arcana as well, by the way. I would be like, oh man, you know what would be so good in red blue? Whole New World.
Whole new world.
Whole New World would be
Get 'em.
insane.
Boom.
And then everyone would be like, Ursi, you're so right. If you could play 3
that
colors.
would be great. If add another color, it's excellent.
So it said salvage.
yeah,
I saw
salvage.
that one, and I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
gonna just point it out. But
Yes, salvage is not only is it able to take out gear with salvage,
Mhm.
however, it also says draw a card on it. So just draw
Ah.
one. Interesting. You don't actually have to have any gear in play. You can
Mhm.
just play it and draw one.
oh, cool. Okay.
It is not great because it does it does have 1 power,
Mhm.
but in a pinch, if it's really bad, you just draw something else and it's fine.
Yeah, it at least is a draw 1. It is only 2 in power 1. And then that's really nice against Aurora, it sounds like.
It is one of the better, I think, yellow cards in the game, especially for a game that has sideboarding like this.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
It is really versatile in that any card that replaces itself and also is like a tech piece
Mm-hmm.
is at least worth considering because you don't set yourself behind on doing stuff to have your sideboard thing.
Okay.
You're not setting yourself behind on cards. They play that. Salvage is an action, so
Okay.
if they say play Aurora and then they dead bloom, you can be like, okay, salvage your Aurora, you
Mhm.
get the one thing and that's it forever.
Yeah.
That can be a bit of a beating
Yeah,
as
it sounds
well.
like
It's
it.
kind of fun. The round is over. They did win 2-0. However, we are getting a deck tech set up real quick here. We'll go over to an interview and a deck tech as soon as they're done with that. Looks like we're getting pretty close. We'll be able to see what all the
Mhm.
cards are in the sideboard,
Awesome.
figure out what their thoughts are on the deck and how today's been going, and I think that'll be really nice.
Yeah.
We've kind of covered the gambit on a lot of the decks here, which is really cool. You see some of the kind of existing metagame snapshots, and it feels a little doom and gloom. Your pie chart is this, and then there's like a couple other things, and it feels a little rough, but I don't think it's really as bad as people initially assumed it would be.
Yeah, I've actually been interested that I'm not seeing like any Teemo. And I think it has a really like a good spot in the meta.
There were a couple, but we're gonna send it over to the interview. There were a few that I saw. We'll see if any make it into the cut tomorrow.
Yep, for sure. And let's go check out that interview.
Oh, okay, we're live. So I'm currently here with Kaiser Collin. Is it Collin Kaiser? Did I say that right?
Yeah, Collin Kaiser.
Collin
exactly.
Kaiser. Okay. And so far, right now, you're 6-0, right?
Yes, 6-0 playing
And-
set.
And you're on set today. How's that been working out for you?
It's been excellent. I've kind of spent a lot of time fine-tuning the deck and really got it to a point where I'm happy with it. So far, I've only lost one game against George, who's played in China a bunch.
Oh yeah,
from
that
my
guy's really good.
understanding.
Yeah. I met George. He's a really cool dude too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's the only game that I've lost. Everyone else I've 2-0'd so far.
So whatever your match has been today, have you hit it like a few Yees, any Kaiser, any A's?
On stream, this was my second Kaiser. George was on Kaiser as well. I played 2 Annies, a Darius randomly, and then also a Aurora Yi, which was also on camera.
Was it the Darius with the baited hook and stuff like
Yeah,
that?
yeah. He had the baited hook, and it was a really cool deck. But I was able to sabotage out the baited hook before he got.
Oh,
into it
okay,
online,
Sly.
so-
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, we actually got your deck list up, so we're gonna take a look at it over here, and let's do that right now.
Sounds good.
So you got about 6 and 6 runes, of course.
Yeah.
Got some sets here. Got some. I noticed you got like three showstoppers.
Yeah, Showstopper is the best card in the deck by far, and it's
Has it been helping you a lot out today?
yeah, it's just an insane card. It does absolutely everything that you need it to. Most importantly, going second when you have 5 runes and typically you're kind of behind. You know, your opponent's sent in their 2 drop already into the battlefield. You're just able to play one of your 8 4-drops out of this list. Showstopper it into the point, take the point, and then even if they're able to clear it, then you can use Set's power to save it afterwards.
Nice.
So
I noticed you got
it's
some
very
a
powerful.
little bit of Lee Sin package and
Yeah.
yeah.
Lee Sin is kind of our top end. Everything,
Yeah.
as you can see here, is extremely cheap. The most expensive card is Lee Sin. Everything else costs 4 or less. Which is, it just allows you to play with low power, low energy, because Set's ability, all these cards cost power. You're typically playing on pretty few runes, but because you have so many cheap spells, it's never really an issue.
Yeah, I noticed you're playing 2 Sabotage main. How's that been working out? Like you said earlier, you took out somebody's baited hook, and
Yeah.
is it just good to play like turn 1, kind of look at what you're up against and stuff like that? or-
Yeah, honestly, I use it mostly for the information. Just
Yeah.
because playing into Kaiser, they have so many spells available to you that
It's good to know what's in your
yeah,
hand.
it's just to let you know. You kind of save it in your hand for a little bit, and then whenever you're going for a big turn to try and clear their board, then you sabotage, and you're like, oh, I get to perfectly know what's in your hand.
Yeah.
I know exactly what to play around. Let's clear your board and make it easy.
Gotcha. Okay. I see you got the package of 2 Primal Strength here. You got some Arena Bar.
Yeah, Arena Bar is a card that I've seen a lot of set lists only running 1 of. I think they're insane. This card does everything that you need, and that's why we play 3 of them.
And that just buffs your guys, right? Is that
Yeah,
what? Yeah.
so it buffs only an exhausted unit. So the only awkward thing is that when you save it, one of your units with Set's ability, there's never a timing where you're able to buff it again with the Arena Bar. But typically you can just conquer another point. That'll get it exhausted for you. You can use the Arena Bar
Okay.
to rebuff.
I noticed you got 2 Primal Strengths in too. How's that been going? Pretty well. That looks pretty
that
spicy.
that was kind of our latest tech that we ended up adding into it while
What
doing
made you
some
want to add
testing.
it in there?
It's just really good into Kaiser, especially the Fox, Thousand-Tailed Watcher.
Yeah.
That's their big thing. Obviously, I'm holding points often, and they decide to play a Watcher, think that they're good, shrink all my guys, send it in, and then I can just Primal Strength my Set, who importantly has Tank, so they can't even kill all the little guys.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely
So
cool.
the set ends up being like 12, 13 power after the Primal Strength typically, and then they went from thinking they wipe my board to now I'm wiping their entire board off of just 1 card.
And then you got Call to Glory. That's
Yeah.
pretty good too.
Yeah, that's one of the more important cards out of set. You'll always see set lists playing 3 of them. It's just
Yeah.
anything that's free in card games tends to be pretty good, and that's one that is +3.
I love your choice of battlefields too. You got like a lot of card draw here, so you can able to get the stuff like I can spin a buff here, get a card draw. If I hold here, I get a card draw.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
a lot of stuff and the first time you choose a friendly, like everything is gonna draw you a card pretty much every turn.
That's what we decided on, was just as many
draw cards as I can,
possible.
because you kind of gotta keep up with your opponents. A lot of people are drawing cards, stuff like that,
exactly.
and you're playing cards. So you need some way to refuel your hand, and I can see that being a big thing. So.
Yeah, exactly. We've played a lot of different set lists between me and my team, and we've found that the biggest issue we ran into was just not having enough cards. One of the more controversial things is that we're only on 7 2-cost units, where most lists are typically playing 9. We just found that like the ways that you really lose this game are when you just draw nothing but 2s, nothing but like your first mates, all these cheap units that don't really do anything when you really need to find your buffs, your spells, whatever it may be. So we try to trim down on that, as well as have as many abilities to draw as possible. And clearly it's worked well for me so far.
Yeah, you got a good package here of 2-drops and stuff. Like looks like you're not missing your 2-drops at all. You're always hitting them, and then you got like 3-drop. Do you play here turn 3, or are you just gonna play a late game and ready someone else?
Yeah, so typically your best turn, it kind of is matchup dependent. Against Kaiser, the best thing you can do on turn 1, going second, is just play an arena bar. It'll just give you all those buffs. Every unit that you're playing, you're buffing it with the arena bar. Anytime they kill it, you're just saving it with set, and they just can't fight through it. Especially because of Fiora and Kiana both having deflect, kind of gets around their ability to play the free spells.
Yeah, for sure.
1 power they get every turn. It's not really going to matter if they try to Falling Star one of these. They're still spending back 3 runes just to be able to Falling Star it.
Yeah.
And it's got a buff on it, so I just save it with my set anyways. So.
Yeah. So what kind of your package, your sideboard here? You got kind of like a good sideboard here. What do you kind of side out for? Like if you're playing against Kaiser, do you side out more another sabotage?
Yeah. So I made the list pretty much just to beat Kaiser for the most part. Whenever I go into the matchup, we take out the 2 Lee Sins for the 2 Unyielding Spirits. We actually don't even board in the 3rd Sabotage. It's there for other matchups. Like, we don't really care too much about ripping cards out of their hands, so I don't feel like I need all 3. Like I said, it's really just for, there's usually 1 turn against Kaiser where, you saw in that matchup where I was able to conquer the point, challenge their Kaiser that was like back in base, conquer the other point, and leave them with 0 to 1 units, and just making sure you have a sabotage to stop that is good, but they're the deck that's going to draw more cards, so just trying to trade 1 for 1 with them doesn't really work. It's just to see what I have to play around, and then I'm like, now that I know that,
For sure.
I'm good.
Yeah. And then we got some salvages. Kill gear.
Our hardest matchup is into Aurora Yi. That list can really be a problem.
Okay.
With us shaving on the 2s and stuff, we just aren't quite as aggressive. So I've got 6 cards here in the sideboard, everything but the Unyielding Spirits that comes in against Aurora Yi. Never a matchup that I want to see. So that's what the set brawlers are for, as well as the salvages, the one of Imperial Decree, and then the sabotage, because all you're trying to do is rip the Aurora out of their hand.
For sure, man. I gotta say, this is a pretty good, solid list. I haven't seen a list like this. And I see like 1 showstopper, and I always think like, that's just
showstopper is the best card. I mean, maybe in like alternate lists you maybe could, but this list we practice a lot going second because games are easier going first, and we just found there's nothing better than you can do than just slamming a Kiana, slamming a set, slamming a Fiora, and showstoppering it on the point immediately, killing whatever unit they sent out on their first turn, and riding it from there. Even though you're tapped out, you have Call the Glories as like a free spell that you can still interact with on their turn.
Yeah.
It works out really nicely.
Well, man, I appreciate all your help here. This looks like a great deck list, and good luck to you in your next match. Is there any shout-outs you want to give out to your team or anything like that? Or?
Yeah, shout out to Challenger TCG on YouTube, as well as Metafy. We'll definitely be doing a deck guide for this, going a little bit more into detail, as well as writing a guide for it. So for those of you who want to play set, want to destroy the Kaisers that have been giving you trouble, definitely follow us and check it out.
Okay, cool, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. Thanks for coming. Bye.
Take care.
Thanks, dude.
Wow, that was a really cool deck getting to look at that set, especially with the second champion in the side.
Yeah. It's really interesting that you don't see that as often,
Mhm.
and again, I think it's probably going to come up a little bit more down the road as the cards keep coming out. We
Mhm.
may get more champion units, switching them out in between games 1 and 2, 2 and 3. That might come up a lot more, either in the sideboard or for, the actual main deck.
Mhm.
Kind of put them all over. And if the units themselves are good, or if they have like really narrow specific applications in matchups, you are guaranteed to have that in your opener. That champion unit slot is functionally in your hand.
Yeah, it's really I think just like even when you think about the champions, like the chosen champion like slot, it's such a cool like oh my god, what's the word? Like brain game? No, like where you like
Like a mind game on it.
no, there's like a word where, like when you a thought experiment. Like when
Oh,
you thought
sure,
experiment,
sure.
like I was like at one point I was like, man, what does this like really like bring to like the playing table? And then I was like thinking about it in Pokemon because that's the game I
Sure.
come from. And I was like, oh man, how would it change like somewhat of like the deck that I play? Like if I could just have a research in my chosen champion slot, or if I could have like a consistency card in my chosen champion spot, or would I put like one of those big evolutions that wins me the game in the end?
Like something that is the payoff that you can guarantee that you
Mhm.
always have. Annie can guarantee any spell from the trash
Yeah,
on demand
that's insane.
every game. You just have it in the wings, just
Mhm.
waiting. With Set, cost 4 on turn 2, you can always play him if you want,
Yeah.
every time. One of the reasons that I think Teemo is so strong, you are guaranteed a 2-drop every game if you play the purple one.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And Seth can really take advantage of that because he has his saving card for
Yeah.
Set. He has that buff. He uses his set ability. It's saved. And I think of like Ari, it's a 3 cost. And Ari's another one that you have two
Yeah.
different champions that are playable
Yeah,
from the
for sure.
chosen spot. But if you play Ari like, going second and you on your first turn and it gets like just destroyed, you don't have anything to save that.
Yeah, it's rough. And Set being able to protect it, you wait an extra round, all of a sudden, what do they do? He's huge. And,
He's gigantic.
like Showstopper being 1, if you're on the draw, you go up to 5, all of a sudden you're like, okay, this huge monster, put him in, take over the one battlefield that they already took, and now there's this massive tank unit that they have to deal with immediately.
Yeah, and I had actually forgotten about the tank, and I think tank really played a role in
Yeah.
like this last round. Especially, I remember that hex tech thing, and I was like, oh, he must have put the damage on the kingpin, and so he can't knock it out because he only has the 3 damage
Yeah.
from thing. Which so sad, man. Wish you could redo it. Blah blah blah. No, the tank will always take the damage.
It's always going to take it
so-
anyway. So it's really rough. And yeah, the 3 arena bar also
Mhm.
making the yellow set even stronger. I really like the list. I think it's really interesting, and it's sort of a different way of approaching some of the set lists than what we've
Mhm.
seen. Even a lot of them seem to really focus on the orange set, which
Yeah.
we had in the sideboard with the intention of I can make this into an 8, and that's cool.
To a 12, to a 16.
Right, and we get buffs pretty freely, and,
Mhm.
and we can move that around, and that's our big protect the king. But you look at the yellow one, and it's just like a 7 on its own by default, kind of.
Yeah.
You get a single buff on it, and it's just like really big, and that's problematic. And the tank can be really good. You can combine that with a couple of units. All of a sudden, okay, so you move a big pile into a battlefield. They take out your set, you save it, it just goes back. The rest of them still win combat, and that's rough. That can be really backbreaking. The leader ability, being able to save it after that makes the tank even stronger.
Yeah, I completely agree. And mentioning back to the arena bar, I've always really liked arena bar, but I understand like maybe it doesn't always feel good. But in this case, where you are running Kingpin versus Brawler, it actually seemed so strong, especially with that Kiana. I loved seeing Lee Sin in there. Like I obviously didn't get to see it be played, but I would love to see it be played. Like that looks
Yeah.
so cool. There was so many really cool pieces to that deck list. We were even talking about Daring Poro while we were just sitting here watching it. And I was like, what does Daring Poro actually even bring to the deck?
Just another cheap card. You know, everything in the deck costs 4 or less, minus the 2 Lee Sins. You know,
Yeah.
everything is pretty cheap. As you saw, it was not afraid of just like recycling a bunch of runes. Just doesn't matter that much. You know, you throw down the champion unit, do a showstopper immediately. You're like, oh no, I'm at 3. What are we gonna do with my giant 7 unit that just took over a battlefield? Like, it just don't care that much. You can save your units. You recycle as much as you want. As long as we have enough cheap stuff, then it's easy. It's chill. And I think it's a really, really well navigated game. You know, the matchup seemed almost comically easy with how game 1, obviously you have to navigate it a little bit slower. You don't necessarily have all of your tech cards. I believe that we were on the draw in game 1. No, we were on the play in game 1 as well.
I don't remember if we were first or second game 1. I know obviously game 2 we were second, but our opponent missed their first
Sure. Yeah,
card, so didn't really
they
matter.
were able to capitalize on it much more efficiently, opt for the line that is, you know, take out the only thing that was there with the showstopper, and then be on the beatdown. You know, and I think that's what's interesting about a lot of these lists. If they have the right draw into somebody that maybe stumbles, they can just decide, okay, well, I guess I'm being the aggressor this game, where in game 1 we saw them be a little bit more defensive, play towards the long game on just, okay, we're going to grind them out. We have the ability to keep saving our units over and over, sneak key on and get resources out of that, and then eventually we just grind them out, and that's how it worked in game 1. Game 2, straight beatdown.
Yeah, it was an absolute masterclass. I loved watching. I loved watching the gameplay. I loved getting to check out the deck tech. And I don't know, it was just really cool to see maybe one of these decks that it does seem like maybe online people liked Set a lot, but in China we didn't see it be too prevalent. Maybe we saw one or two in like day 2 of nationals, but I don't really think it came on to stream too much. I streamed like the whole 48 hours of the thing.
I remember.
Yeah, and it was like over the 32 hours, I'd slept like 3 hours, and the night before I'd only have 3. So I'm like misremembering.
It could have happened. A bunch of rounds could have been that, and you're like,
yeah, just like mind blank. But I don't think I remember us getting to watch it really like on day 2 at all.
It didn't seem like it had as much of a presence, but again, it is also a deck that it's tricky to pilot.
Yeah.
You know, moving the buffs on and off, making sure that you know when to pivot from being the aggressor to being the control. You know, when are we the beatdown? When are we not? It's hard, right?
Yeah.
And if the metagame wasn't set up in such a way that it seemed favorable, if you were going to run into not as great of a matchup, you weren't as experienced with it, I can see where players would stick to something that they're more comfortable with. You know, maybe they didn't have a lot of time to practice it. And it is a tricky deck. You know, in the same with Annie and things like that, they are doing things a little bit differently. They're not doing the traditional, you know, I play a little bit of stuff, I draw a little bit of cards, I have a little bit of removal. You know, they have to take different approaches on sort of the same payoff in the end. But that's harder to learn. And if you don't have the time to invest in it, especially with a new game, you're going to want to stick with something that is a little bit more straightforward. I mean, Yi, of all decks, is pretty straightforward. If you have access to the cards, and before they were even playing Aurora on the ramp, it's just like, put a guy in there and he's big. Like, that's pretty easy, you know?
Yeah. Yi obviously still has very high skill ceiling,
Sure
not
does.
trying to like
It does.
decrease that, but it does feel like at the base, it almost like plays itself when you're first starting to play it.
Yeah, and it comes out of a precon, basically. You get the Proving Grounds. That deck isn't terrible, right? You add in some of the bigger payoffs towards the end, add in a little ramp, and we're not that far from what we're looking at now, but you wonder how many of the decks just weren't fully optimized that were there. Again, game's really early. A lot of people in China, believe it or not, a lot of them. So not every single grinder that wanted to necessarily get into these events, there's a wait list for a lot of them. So you may not have always seen the same players at every single event either.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how the first big NA tournament
Yeah.
does conclude and like what decks we're gonna be seeing. I don't think we're gonna really have like a different deck save like day 2 because there's still 2 Swiss rounds.
Yeah.
But especially for that top 16, I'm so excited to see the metagame.
Yeah.
So excited to see what makes it. And there is one big thing as well different here. And there's not a lot of there's not as many Yis here proportionally
True.
as we saw in China.
You know, we've also had some issues getting Proving Ground access
Yeah.
to a lot of
Yeah.
players, which, you know, is unfortunate. It's
Mhm.
hard to want to pick them up as singles, given that Proving Ground is supposed to be MSRP $30, and Yi is like $30, and then you need a
Flash
bunch
is
of them.
$30.
Flashes are $30, Annies are $15, $20. You know,
Yeah.
it's unfortunate because that should be something that they theoretically mass overprint, and then like, could you imagine going to a pre-release and it's just like, oh, here you get you get one of these, pick a deck out of it, and then you play or whatever. Like, they should have been that readily available.
Yeah, it would have been cool to see Proving Ground like that readily available, like just like you're mentioning. So I mean, we'll have to see how it continues. I'm really excited though that they're gonna have them in the Nexus Night packs for Spirit Forge
As foil.
and signed. There's signature ones. Like, can you imagine like a signature over numbered Yi? You're like, I'm at my Nexus Night. Woo! I'm gonna do this. What in the world is in my
Yeah.
pack?
As if Teemo wasn't bad enough.
The GGEZ is like insane price as well, and
It's
that's like
crazy,
not even
right?
thinking about it. So,
It's crazy. I'm really excited about it. I hope that they still do like alternate foil treatments and things like that. I think
Yeah,
they
really
look really
cool.
cool. It makes it feel a little bit more special that it's a promo instead of just like, oh, here's a foil version of the card. So I hope that they keep making it accessible for players. And I did see even that they're trying to maybe send out more of the Nexus Knight Season 1 packs because there
Yeah.
were a little bit of problems with that. I know that my store got 144 total for 14 weeks, which is not enough.
Yeah, it was not enough. I heard, I think, and I could be wrong, so chat, please don't destroy me on this one, that there may be like a reprint of them coming out like this week to some stores,
Yeah,
and then at the New Year's as well.
Yeah, there's like 2 waves, and I know that they reached out to some of the bigger, because they're tracking it right on through the Nexus Nights that are being run. They see how many players are showing up. They know how many of these, because everybody that goes should get one. Right?
Yeah.
That's the whole point of the Nexus Night is you go, you get the promo, you theoretically get extra packs if there's any packs, and then you go have fun. It's kind of like your Friday Night Magic kind of thing.
Yeah.
Your little weekly, right? It does feel really bad if you have to, shortchange them because you just don't have enough of the promos to give out. That sucks.
Sad.
It's really sad. And we were like, okay, so if we only get 12 people show up and we just pretend Christmas and Thanksgiving aren't real, then we have enough to last us until
Next week.
next set or whatever. It's like,
Yeah, I'm really glad the reprints are coming.
yeah, that'll be really cool.
My understanding, though, I think it's kind of funny when you look at some of the cards. Obviously, it's set 1, so it like makes sense. Like, we don't have a lot, like, too much insight. But like, my understanding is like Nexus Night packs were supposed to be the like ones they expected to see in people's decks, and we see some of those for sure. Like Fighter Flight's, I think Fighter Flight's in it, and there's not. I'm wrong. I don't really know foils, guys. My point is that some of them are correct, and then
Stack
sometimes.
Deck is in there.
Okay, you see it played,
There's a bunch of Poros that are
which
in there.
is true. We see a lot of play with them. My point is they got some correct.
Like the Student is in there. That's pretty well played. And then the runes obviously are great out of those.
I
too.
love those. I think they're better than.
There is
RR.
one more round today.
Mhm.
That was round 6. Round 7 will happen, and then it will be that'll be it for today. And then we'll come back in the morning for the last couple rounds, and then the cut.
Yeah. 7 rounds today, 2 Swiss rounds in the morning, top 16 because we got over 256 players. And because of that, not only we're at 10K, we're now at 12K.
Yeah, it was 257, I believe, was the
Just
final
over.
the final count to perfectly align with what we needed to get. But no, that's a sizable amount, and that's just the players playing in the main event. There were a lot of people here just kind of milling around, and you talk to the dealers, and they're buying cards, they're selling cards. The cards come in, and then they sell them immediately after they got them. It's really nice, actually. It doesn't feel like there's like a lack of stuff here. If you really want it, you can get access to it.
I love this place.
Like, Charlie's is great. This place is sweet.
Yeah. For those who haven't been here, so Charlie's Collectible Store is like almost like a convention style type setting. It's got this cute little like Japanese food court. It's got a name now. It's called the Big Back Food Shack. I love the name. And right now they have like a D&D group going on in there, which is like adorable. That sounds bad when I say it like that. I just like seeing other people doing nerdy things as well. I remember last time I was here, all these like girls appeared and they were like all in cute little like flowery dresses and they were here for a teacup party.
Yeah, why not?
Like, I love it. I love it. I love this type of community. I think it's so awesome. It is such a, and if anybody, even if you can't play in the tournament, just wants to come to Charlie's, I think you would have a fantastic experience.
Like where we have the interview like set up over there, normally they have a bunch of arcade machines.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
That DDR thing works. It actually is.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I mean, good, but like
it works. We
that's
just
so cool.
they took it down for us to have more space to be able to do
That's
stuff.
nice.
But they got the DDR. They got the whole arcade set up there. They have, tons and tons and tons of vendors of all different types. Not just TCG vendors, but all sorts of collectibles.
Yeah.
Collectibles and there's a bunch of vintage stuff and figures and literally you can kind of find anything here. And it's just like there's a new thing every weekend at Charlie's. It's awesome.
It's fantastic. I absolutely love it. And I mean it's like it's TCG tangent for me. But I have already spotted so last time I was here, I actually bought a Tepig. It was a gigantic Tepig, which is a big Pokemon. It's a starter in Gen. Yeah, about that. Hilda has a Tepig though. Like I know some facts about Tepig. I bought it. This time I found these like crocheted Pokemon and they're so adorable. I'm buying one. That's what I'm taking home this weekend. 5.
Of course, generation.
I wonder if it is set 5. It was like what, black and white, which makes sense because nobody was around during black and white. Nobody was around during black and white.
It's just never real. It's not real.
It wasn't real. It wasn't real,
fake,
guys.
Fake news.
It's fake news. But yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. I don't know. Are there any matchups you still want to see later today?
I haven't really gotten to see any Ari. There was one earlier, I know. Have we had any Teemo on at all?
We have not. That I saw because we had. Yeah, I don't think we saw any.
I don't know. I don't know if we have any Teemo at all. Like there may not be something that we have access to. I don't know if we're gonna get another interview before the round is going to be up. I know that that's something that we were going to try to do, but, players wander off. I'm going to see if I can find a nice matchup for next round.
Ooh, are they already out?
Not just yet. We're still waiting on some amount of rounds, like a couple players.
Okay.
It doesn't look like it's fully... yeah, there's a couple outstanding ones, so they must have gone to time.
Yeah, I have a feeling I don't think we're getting a second interview then.
They must be getting pretty close, yeah. But I will see if I can find a nice matchup, even if it's not necessarily the undefeateds. We could just see a nice Kaiser mirror,
Kaiser's leads very skillful.
Kids.
Very skillful
It
in
is.
the mirror.
It is.
Much better than a Yi mirror. No offense to Yi players or anything like that.
We
But
did see an Annie mirror earlier. That was
we did
kinda
watch
cool.
an Annie mirror
That was
earlier.
enjoyable. There is quite a few Annie lists.
Yeah, I
up
thought
at the top tables.
the top tables when I walked through was like, I don't want to say majority Annie, but it was a very high number Annie for what I expected.
Ooh, there's an MF Aurora. We could maybe do that.
That sounds cool.
I'll talk to the head judge. We'll see if we can find something a little bit exciting for tomorrow. That may be some players that are still kind of in contention to make a run if they win a couple more in a row tomorrow.
That makes sense.
And then
And we'll have a really cool top 16, I'm sure of it.
I think it'll be really sweet, yeah. Some of these Annie lists are really, really heavy into all the removal. What?
Nothing.
I
You
heard
saw
you.
nothing. I said nothing.
I heard you.
Chat, I said nothing.
Annie is the best deck. This is all being recorded. I have it on the internet and everything.
It doesn't matter if you watch it back, nothing happened.
I'll never watch it back. That seems like so much work.
Also, like, imagine listening to your own voice. I hate it.
It's the worst. Yeah, let's go to a BRB. I'm going to go see if I can hunt down a sick match for round 7.
Awesome. And I guess you'll see. I don't know who is back for round 7. So
That's a mystery.
whoever's back for round 7, but I'll see you guys tomorrow. I don't know if
It
Jebas
is me
back, though.
and Toups, I think.
So you'll see him back very shortly.
Yes, I will be here. I'm always here.
I'm going to go eat sour
That's
candy.
a great idea, actually. So we will be back.